I have been talking. I've been talking for maybe 5 minutes now and just realized that my microphone was off. That's fine. We're going to take it from the top. So, again, this is the world in the meantime. If you're watching this for the first time, this is the segment that we like to do where we go over everything that happened from last week and let all of our viewers know what we've got coming up in the following week. So, all of this week, we were talking about research, how important it is to research things. We had an episode on etymology, which is, why words are what they are, where did they come from, what did they mean, what do they mean now, why it's so important that we understand that. And we also talked about how easy it is for us to get outraged or form opinions on things without actually looking into these things and finding out, do we really know what we think we know? That episode in particular was about music and the idea of cultural appropriation. But from a viewpoint of, how much have we really looked into these things before we decide this is appropriation? What exactly is appropriation? Have we done any research on what that is? And have we done any research on this artist that we're accusing of appropriating this culture? Um, and I feel like if you haven't watched it and you go back and you watch all three of those episodes, I'm hoping that what you'll get from it is, maybe I thought I knew this, but I don't actually know as much as I think I do. Maybe I think that I'm good at researching because I Google everything and I read two or three links on them to make sure that the information matches. But maybe I need to make sure that information is coming from a reliable source. I need to make sure maybe that it's not a blog I'm reading or an op-ed that I'm reading. Maybe I need to go and actually find the data, the research, the science behind whatever I'm reading to see if that actually matches up with what I say it is true. I feel like if we're all able to do that, and it's easy to do as far as it doesn't take a lot of brain power to be able to say, okay, this is a blog. Let me go see if I can dig a little bit and find something else. What it takes is time, though, which we live in a time where we don't like to spend a lot of time on much of anything. But if you take the time to do that, if you take the time to make sure, okay, I'm as informed as I can possibly be about this subject, then when I go and talk about it, I know what I know. If I go and share this and spread it to someone else, I know that I'm giving reliable information to them. And if we can all do this, then we can help to stop the spread of misinformation. So that way, when we're making decisions about things and we're trying to figure out, okay, this needs to change, this doesn't need to change, we can confront those situations with confidence, knowing that I researched this to the best of my ability. I found the science behind it. I found the sources behind what so and so said in their blog or their op-ed. And if we can all do that, I mean, the world would be a much better place. So that was all of this week. Um, Charles said it was going to be a dope series of episodes. It was. I feel like it exceeded that expectation because we learned so much that I think all of us can take and add to our lives and try to be a little bit better in the future. So next week we're going to be talking about the military. We've been planning this one for a little bit, and we're going to break this one up into three different big episodes. Now, normally, we have episodes set up to where we have a big episode on Tuesday, then we kind of break out and have these smaller segments Wednesday and Thursday. For all of next week, we want to have those big episodes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday so that we can kind of cover as many, I guess, areas of this topic as possible. So Tuesday is going to start out with an episode just about the military in general. We want to have our guests be able to share their experiences from the military, what they liked, what they loved, what they didn't care for. We also want to approach some stigmas that people who have served may have about the military in general or about their specific branch, things that maybe civilians think that may or may not be true. So we want to be able to just get that broad understanding as much as we can on Tuesday. Wednesday, we want to take time to speak to women who have served in the military. Um, it's such a it's such a big thing, I think, because I mean, as we all know, women weren't always allowed to serve in the military, and as we all know, women have had their fair share of struggles as far as becoming accepted as a person, not just as a woman, but as a person in our country. So obviously, it's safe to assume that that has also permeated many women's military experiences. So we want to be able to hear from our women that have served on what their experience was like. Thursday, kind of wrapping up that series, we're going to hear from Black people who have served in the military. Again, another thing, we weren't always allowed to serve. When we were allowed to serve, we were segregated in service at first. As we know, racism still abounds today. So we want to be able to hear from our brothers and sisters that served. What was your experience like? What kind of problems did you see? Did you not see any problems? What things do you think need to change in order to make the military better in the future for all people who decide to serve? So that's what's going on next week. We said before last Friday, I think it was, that if you're a viewer, if you have served, if you know someone who has served, whether you're still active duty, you're retired, whatever the case, even if you're a civilian and you just have questions about the military, go on our page on Facebook. Shoot us. You can shoot us a message on our messenger. You can post something on the page. Whatever you want to do. If you have a question, let us know so that we can try to address it. As best as we can during the episodes. So that's all of next week. Thank you guys for stopping in and hanging out with me a little bit while we go over this. Make sure you're following us everywhere. You see our little thing on the bottom. It's got all of our social medias. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, the likes, we're everywhere. Make sure you're following us. Make sure your post notifications are on so that you know every time we're going live. And tell a friend. Yeah. And with that, I'm out of here and I will see you guys next week.